But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. Because the owners of this country don't want that. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right.
Starvation is now a thing of the past, so people have lots to be proud of. Be sure to watch tonight. We have a breaking news story. Technology has officially ended world hunger.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. You're watching Zeitgeist Live. My name is Tyson Alston Eberly, and I am your television show host for the next 1 hour. All right, we got a nice show for you tonight. So much stuff happens in just 1 week. I love it. I love this movement so much with all my heart. I love it. Yeah, really exciting stuff happening with education, and we're going to get into some education stuff here on the show. Let's see. On tonight's show, we're going to be visiting with Michael Mike of Zeitgeist Academy, a new educational program, online educational resource that's being developed that he's working on in his spare time, like all of us work on our activism in our spare time, as this is a volunteer organization. Excuse me. We're also going to be checking out some really great videos that are being produced from movement members from around the globe. We're also going to take your live phone calls. Peter Perez is going to be joining us via the phone. He is on a TeamSpeak meeting right now, and he's going to be fielding questions from TeamSpeak members that are watching the show to us, so that's really cool. What has been happening? What's been happening within the movement? In the news? Well, I think the coolest thing is that Peter Joseph, for the second time now, within 2 or 3 weeks, has been on Russia Today. And this interview was great because it was an in-person interview, and he was able to, just really kind of go into more detail, be more just present with all of his answers or all of his responses. Great video to watch. We're actually going to be showing you maybe the first 5 minutes of the video coming up later on in the show after the get down. But really good stuff, and of course you can find this interview for yourself on the Russia Today website or the YouTube site, or many places to find PJ on Russia Today. Also, Zeit News. Zeit News was contacted by the Los Alamos, help me.
National Laboratories.
Yes, by Los Alamos Research Laboratories for a press release. And so this is great stuff because it just it recognizes, this is a huge organization that's contacting Zeit News, which is, Zeit News is, Zeit for Zeitgeist. This is the technology arm or blog that's being, administered by Douglas Millett, our friend Douglas Millett. So this is really exciting stuff. So Zeit News produced a press release on, I believe it, actually I can't recall exactly what it had to do, but this is good stuff. So good news for Zeit News and the movement in general with that. Okay, also something else that's really exciting is TZM education, the Zeitgeist Movement education. Hopefully this week we're going to get to have a little interview with the creator of TZM education, but it's a new outlet, a new resource where materials are going to be posted and published for people to start learning these lectures, ranging from age groups and then contacting different schools to give presentations on just education and education of the future. So I am planning to do this. I'm really excited about this, and so please check out tzmeducation.org, and you will be, I think, really excited to go through it with a fine-tuned comb. I mean, it's an awesome website. It's got a bunch of awesome resources there. So yeah, that's what's going on. So what we're going to do now is get into our first segment of the show. This is our transformative technology segment, and when we return, I'll be doing a little fancy dance moves, and coming back after that, we're going to check out PJ on Russia Today, and then be on the Skype call with the Michael Mike of Zeitgeist Academy. We're going to take your live phone calls. All right, peace.
Instead of paying almost $4 for gas, how would you like to run your car on salt water? Now, it may sound crazy, but wait until you see what a local inventor has come up with that could change the world. And as Channel 3's Michael Mara shows us, that's not all he's trying to do.
We need to get it to around 100.
Retired TV station owner and broadcast engineer John Kansas was not looking for an answer to the energy crisis. He was looking for a way to cure cancer. 4 years ago, inspiration struck in the middle of the night. Why not use radio waves to kill the cancer cells?
And the best thing that would work as antennas was I could find at 3 o'clock in the morning, was my wife's pie pants.
His wife, Marianne, heard the noise and found her husband inventing a radio frequency generator using her pie pans.
I got up immediately and thought he'd lost it.
Here are the basics of John's idea. Radio waves will heat certain metals like gold. Tiny bits of that metal are injected into a cancer patient. Those nanoparticles are attracted to the abnormalities of the cancer cell and ignore the healthy cells. The patient is then exposed to radio waves, and only the bad cells heat up and die. Killing cancer cells is amazing, but John had also stumbled on yet another amazing breakthrough.
You have enough in there?
His machine could actually burn salt water. John Kansas discovered that his radio frequency generator could release the oxygen and hydrogen from salt water and create an incredibly intense flame.
Just like that. If that was inside a car cylinder, you could see the amount of fire that would be in the cylinder. I can put my hand in here.
Put your hand into the beam, nothing happens. Put in a fluorescent bulb and it lights up immediately. At the APV Company Laboratory in Akron, top engineers have checked out John's amazing invention, and they were amazed.
And we saw it go up to 1,500 degrees centigrade, the temperature, and it's incredible.
This simple Stirling engine is running with the heat generated by the flames coming off that test tube. The fuel, nothing more than salt water.
Oh, that could be a steam engine, a steam turbine. Could be a car engine if you wanted it to be.
That's the true American innovator. Someone that is not looking for something, he just finds it.
This is the most abundant element in the world, water. And salt water is everywhere. And to see it burn actually gives me chills.
So imagine the possibilities. Salt water as the ultimate clean fuel, a happy byproduct of one man searching for a cure for cancer. In Erie, Pennsylvania, Mike O'Mara, Channel 3 News.
That is amazing. We want it now. Inventor John Kansas says that if some big company wants to buy up his saltwater fuel invention, that's okay. He wants to use all the money to finish his quest.
If you make people uniform, you can control them. If you teach people to read and think and question things, you lose control. So the best idea is to separate people if you wish to maintain a monetary system. It's called divide and conquer. By dividing people, they're not a threat. You can control them.
What we are trying is to see if we cannot radically bring about a transformation of the mind. Not accept things as they are, but to understand it, to go into it, to examine it. Give your heart and your mind with everything that you have to find out a way of living differently. But that depends on you and not somebody else. Because in this there is no teacher, no pupil, there is no leader, there is no guru, there is no master, no savior. You yourself are the teacher and the pupil, you are the master, you are the guru, you are the leader. You are everything. And to understand is to transform what is.
Of machines to free people from arduous, repetitive labor. A new consciousness is developing which sees the Earth as a single organism and recognizes that an organism at war with itself is doomed. We are one planet.
Hey, if you're just now joining us, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You're watching Zeitgeist Live. We are a weekly public access television show broadcast out of Austin, Texas. So what is Zeitgeist Live? Well, we are part of the Zeitgeist movement. If you care at all about your future, about yourself, about the world, about other people, about your health, about our health, about the planet's health, check out the Zeitgeist movement, because there are things that need to happen right now that really just aren't happening. There are things that need to be addressed that aren't getting addressed. Right now, you and I are breathing in nuclear fallout from Japan. You know, so like, there's serious things going on in the world. If you just take a look at what's happened in the last, I don't know, 5 years, less than that. I mean, every country is getting bailed out right now. Natural disaster after natural disaster, man-made disaster after man-made disaster. It's crazy, and we should all be outraged. So what we're trying to do here with Zeitgeist Live is to inform you to some of these solutions that we're working on here, or that we're working toward, the means at which we arrive at our solutions. And you know, we want to showcase some of the artwork. There's a 500,000 members in this movement, and Zeitgeist Live is here to, you know, help get out to the public this movement, what we're doing, some of the creations, the art, the music, the passion, and so that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make it entertaining and informative. It's what we do. So Zeitgeist largely came from some movies that have been made by a man named Peter Joseph. He's an activist and a filmmaker. So he made the movie Zeitgeist Moving Forward, which you need to see. If you have not seen this movie yet, it's free online. You can check it out. Just type in Zeitgeist Moving Forward. Or Zeitgeist Addendum. Now, originally we all found this guy through Zeitgeist, his original movie, which was done before, there was any kind of a solution-oriented place to go. It was just like, look at how bad these problems are. Bet you didn't know that, did you? And it was like that. But now we've got a global movement that's happening, and it's no longer focusing on problems. We focus on the root causes for problems, which is, we don't ever see that because the money is to be made in treating the symptoms of the problems, or treating the problems, not actually getting to the root in curing or solving the problems. And that's what we're doing with the Zeitgeist movement, the Venus Project, and a resource-based economy, or at least our approach to, eventually one day having a resource-based economy. So, I know that was a bit of a mouthful. Well, the founder of the Zeitgeist movement, Peter Joseph, the filmmaker, was recently interviewed on Russia Today a couple of weeks ago, and it was a satellite interview, and it was really good. This is exciting because Russia Today is a national program, so it's on television, not just the internet. And also this week, he was also interviewed again on Russia Today. So this is really exciting stuff because, we are slowly but surely creeping into the mainstream. And obviously, this is really exciting stuff. So we're going to show you a little segment here about the first 5 minutes of a 10-minute interview with Peter Joseph on Russia Today. When we come back, we're going to be visiting with Michael Mike in London as he talks to us about his new education platform that he's working on for the movement, for the world. You know what I'm saying. So check it out. Here's Peter Joseph on Russia Today.
Today, RT is talking to Peter Joseph, filmmaker. He's the founder of the Zeitgeist movement and has recently released his newest film, Zeitgeist Moving Forward. Now, Peter, thank you for joining us today. For our viewers who may not be very familiar with it, please briefly explain what the Zeitgeist movement is.
Well, the Zeitgeist film series, I'll originally first point out, is my own creative expression. And it carried over with an influence, inspiration, if you will, to the Zeitgeist movement through a number of people that wanted to start being active in social change. So the Zeitgeist movement overall is built upon the ideology of the Venus Project, which is worth mentioning, which is the life work of Jacques Fresco. What that means is that all of the work that he's done throughout his entire life as an engineer, compiling sustainable designs, compiling ideologies, value orientations, compiling ideas essentially that make us in tandem with nature. If we want to approach all the problems in the world, we have to think about it technically, not think about it through political parties, not think about it through the acquisition of money or the movement of money. It's time we just go straight to it because we understand it now. Science, I say that and people don't quite understand what I mean. I'm not talking about an esoteric view. We're talking about firm physical science of what it means to meet the needs of the human population.
You often talk about the problems caused by our current monetary system. How is it that by taking away money from the equation that you really think that we can eliminate such problems as crime and disease?
Well, it's not just taking away the physical currency, it's the entire system itself. So let's make sure that that's apparently clear, abundantly clear. When I talk about money, I'm referring to the monetary structure and its holistic entity. So let's start with crime. 90–95% of all crimes are based on property. In fact, a guy will run out, steal a car that's worth $15,000. He'll get arrested and thrown in jail for possibly 10 years at an expense of probably $300,000. Just give him the car. It's inefficient, the entire crime and punishment, so give people what they need. And you'll begin to see that needs and wants start to divide. We live in a culture based on wants. We create all these artificial wants, people and their stylistic and materialistic ideas and the things that they want to own and show their property and status. This is a concoction. Then there's needs on the other end of the spectrum. Needs are true, viable things. And when people don't have their needs met, crime emerges. So crime is easily related to money. I mean, there's only a small percentage of really serious violent crimes, and even many of those come from psychological neuroses. And you can research the work of James Gilligan. They come from bad conditions, and in a resource-based economy, that is a very important issue. And that's not just the technical management of resources, it's understanding that the entire environment has to be low stress.
You also talk about our over-reliance on fossil fuels and how this will eventually lead to a financial collapse. What do you think that it will eventually take for us to start looking at our energy issues a lot differently? I mean, does gas have to be $10 a gallon?
If you're born into this system, you're indoctrinated into it, and you think the system is working, yes, $10 a gallon gas might be the rude awakening it takes to get society to understand what's happening.
Let's talk about how overconsumption is affecting us in real time. Here in Los Angeles, we're dealing with high unemployment, unprecedented hunger. Does it really have to be this way? Because I think a lot of us over the years have grown to learn that there has to be some suffering in this world, right?
Capitalist free market system, I don't believe, is going to hold up for that much longer. I'm not a prophet, but I think that it's going to show itself, and people are going to begin to see that it's intrinsically flawed. The collapse of industrial civilization, to put it very exaggeratedly, if you will, because we base everything on oil, is a very terrifying idea. I am not a doomsday theorist. I'm simply looking at the statistics. If we aren't adapting ourselves to renewables, which we have plenty of, we just need a systems approach to energize them and get them going, to change the global infrastructure, which we could easily do if there was an interest to do so. Again, it's a technical phenomenon. We don't need money to do it. We just do it. You know what I mean? If that doesn't occur, we're definitely going to see more wars. We're going to see extremely high gasoline. We're going to have a huge profiteering subculture. Collapse of society will be met with a huge profiteering group that are shorting all the interests, that are the owners of the goods that are going scarce, because scarcity equates to more profit. And that's another thing I think people should understand as well. There's no intrinsic interest in the whole of society for the well-being of everyone. And there isn't going to be, as far as I'm concerned, a legitimate economic recovery. We're not going to see the heyday of the human species, as far as I'm concerned, is over until radical shifts are made because of how important the hydrocarbon issue has been. And again, no one's doing anything to counter it. What we need really is a Manhattan Project, if you will, but for renewable energy research, and without having to worry about limitations of corporations to get it done. So to answer your question, there's not going to be an economic recovery that people are expecting.
But it was many poor and middle-class Americans who contributed to the victory of our current president.
The earth, a beautiful gift we got, and we're lousing it up because we're not wise enough to use our technology intelligently. That's what the Venus Project is about. So the Venus Project is not about new cities or new architecture. It's about a way of thinking.
This is yours. All right, joining us now is Michael Mike from London. Actually, it's 4:30 in the morning where he is right now, and he's here to talk to us about Zeitgeist Academy. Welcome, Michael. How are you doing, brother?
I'm all right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for being on the
show. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I'm currently in my pajamas with a shirt on.
So where are you coming to us from? You're where?
I'm going to the University of Southampton. I'm studying engineering there.
Okay, fantastic, man. Now, as far as your studies go, has you know the have your study choices or your curriculum choices been influenced at all by the information that you've picked up through the Zeitgeist movement, or the Venus Project, or Jacques Fresco?
Well, yes. I mean, I originally planned to sort of do sort of engineering for some sort of sustainable technologies, but I took some time out. I've always been a bit of a creative mind, so I've switched between the two, and I actually dropped out of a film degree to come back and study engineering, partly under the influence of the advice that Jacques Fresco gave, that we need engineers, we need people who can actually do things.
Yeah, yeah. So what we're here to talk about is Zeitgeist Academy, and this is obviously something that you're passionate about enough to, you know, create a whole website, or at least start the beginning stages of, you know, a full website with, you know, a depth of information. You've got the shell going right now, which is Zeitgeist Academy. You know, tell us a little more about, you know, what inspired you to create this website, what inspired you to develop this concept, and a little more about it.
Well, I suppose like the whole lifetime of experiences inspired me, but mainly it was growing up in London, where there's there's a whole culture of like poor and deprived, bored kids who are disillusioned and violent, and I don't think there's enough being done to sort of help these kids overcome all the issues that society throws at them. There's also like my mum, who's a big influence on me. She's a teacher, and she's written a couple of books, which are mainly sort of practical lesson plans for kids to help them become integrated if they're refugees from another country. So mainly a sort of like human cooperation, and yeah, like the culture of cooperation on the internet is also a massive influence, and you know, the internet is itself like just a huge human resource, and you know, there are a number of other sort of peer learning sites that are on the web, on the internet, but they don't deal with all the human problems that we have. I.e., they're not skill based, they're knowledge based, and while knowledge is useful in itself, and this Zeitgeist Academy is focusing on knowledge, but it's also focusing on skills, the human skills that we have, communication, and also the skills that we have to meet our own needs and the needs of the planet and stuff.
Can you give me an example of communication skills? Well,
a good example is non-violent communication. Is how we interact without imposing expectations on other people, and so we communicate to meet our own need, rather than expecting other people to meet our needs.
Right.
By inferring that they've hurt and they sort of hurt our feelings, or sort of like putting your own feelings onto someone else, making them feel guilt and shame, and it's a really violent way of communicating. And the man himself, Marshall, I can't remember his full name, but he's worked with conflict resolution between nations who are at war with each other, and his techniques to encourage sort of a positive needs-based communication is very much in tune with the Zeitgeist movement in its desire to understand human needs and meet the needs with the technology that we have.
Beautiful, Michael. And so how do you see, is this going to be, as far as the website goes, the breakdowns of the different forms of education, is this going to be through like different videos, like tutorial videos, or is it mainly going to be text? Do you foresee like maybe a type of tutorial type of a deal coming through here? We've got your website up right now, and so while you're talking, we'll just kind of take me out and we'll go through your website and just kind of scroll down so that people can get a better view of what it is that you're working toward here.
Sure. Well, what I envision many things for it. Like it's really infinite in possibilities. But it would have to be a full, rich media experience. Like everyone has their own preferences and styles of learning, and that's what we kind of want to get into with the discussion and to like get some think tanks going, introduce people who are familiar with the discourse of educational theory, and yeah, well, I mean, like for example, we like videos is a part of it because that is a proven sort of method, YouTube and stuff, and there's also like the ability to communicate like we are doing now, like face to face. Even though I can't actually see you at the moment, but it doesn't matter. But you know, like things like chat roulette and stuff, like I know that's a bit of an obscure example, but for people like studying on the same sort of level, on the same subject, we could just randomly link them up together if they needed assistance of some kind. And also, you know, there are always going to be experts, like people adding to Wikipedia who are willing to help other people like overcome problems, like on forums. It's all there on the internet. You know, as I said, the internet is a huge human resource.
So it's almost like a place to start to facilitate interdisciplinary teams coming together to work on different projects. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is another scope for the whole project, is that we can like come together on both ends of the spectrum, both the learning and the teaching, because if you cease learning, then you're like closing your mind to new information. So everyone on the ladder of knowledge will be able to learn from each other as new things are discovered. In real time, really, like as soon as something is discovered, it will be updated in the system, and you know, people can relearn, or like, and anyone learning that can sort of like be immediately up to date, so no one is learning out of date knowledge. What I also wanted to, well, I mean, what I've been thinking about recently mainly is ways to engage sort of like young kids and teenagers into like finding some entertainment out of learning, and I think well, I posted there's a little post on the website in the discussion forum in the aesthetics area of the discussion forum, on perhaps like an RPG, like a massively multiplayer online game RPG, because the online community, like in games, is massively collaborative. Yeah, everyone works together, and everyone enjoys what the fruits of their labor. Yeah. And it's a great sort of motivational method of engaging people in whatever they're doing, and like putting another level to learning. So you could have sort of like actors and comedians sort of like teaching you real things in a fantasy setting, in an exciting way that would engage kids into sort of like fantasy world or a storyline, yet teach them real skills that they can use both in the game and in the real world. And imagine how great it would be if you could sink hundreds of hours into leveling up your character. That's
or
awesome.
Slaying monsters in a dungeon, and then put it on your resume. Yes. To say, I've learned something from this.
Yes. Yes, brother. I see the vision. It's really progressive, and it's almost like planning ahead for the next generation coming up right now. And I think it's awesome. And I know this is early to be contacting you, because I mean, how long has the website been up? I mean, you just got it up, didn't you?
Well, I mean, it's been up for like about, a week or two.
A week or two, okay.
Really, yeah.
So, I mean, we know you're a full-time student, and so it'll be a while, we can expect it might be a while till, for the website gets really fully developed. But, we look forward to like staying in touch with you, and, when there's more to show, definitely get in touch, and we'll have you back on the show, and we'll show more.
Yeah,
all right.
For real. And well, I'm looking for interested people, people willing to open a discussion about it, developers, programmers, everyone with real skills that can help.
Right on, Michael. Well, hey, brother, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll be in touch, and we'll have you back on soon enough.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Thanks for staying up so late. 4:30 in the morning, London time.
Yeah.
All right, brother,
you.
get some sleep.
Good night, guys.
Good night. All right, so that was Michael Mike with Zeitgeist Academy. What we're going to do now is we're going to check out a quick film on that's being produced by the Portugal chapter, and they've produced a series of videos now called I believe it's Time for a Change. We have a plan. And we have a plan. Check it out. This is on housing.
We can design machines to move 20-story buildings, float them out to the side, and with 1 pound of force, we can move a building a ton of weight.
All of the new cities will be a university in essence. The center of the city, the nucleus, will house an electronic computer which only controls the weather, water purification, the atmospheric conditions, that is, it controls air contamination systems. The computers do not control people. They maintain safety, they oversee the environment, maintain ecological balance between animal life and plant life. All the machines do is control the physical entities that comprise the environment. The center of the city is a university that covers all subjects related to man. It is not a commercial university. There's no courses that are used to exploit or abuse any other human being. All business courses will be phased out. All repetitious jobs will be phased out. We feel that machines ought to do the filthy or the repetitious or the boring jobs. That man has to be free to pursue the higher things, the higher possibilities of man. In other words, if this is the medical unit, this little branch, and if you work in this center, you may live in the garden cities that surround the center. You don't have to. You can if you will. There's circular conveyor belts that take you anywhere in the city in 3 minutes. The cities are all immersed in beautiful gardens. There are no trees in a row. It is not a mechanical environment. It is essentially a city immersed in a second Garden of Eden, where there are lakes, recreation areas, art centers, music centers, cultural centers, and surrounding the city, we have the agricultural belt where we grow foods hydroponically. Between cities, we let everything go back to nature. The deer, the coyote, the entire ecological balance is maintained. Most of the homes will be individually contoured. If you're an artist, you'll live in the kind of house that is most suitable to your areas of interest. If you're a technician, a musician, the house will be designed for your needs. Most of the houses will be self-generative. That is, the heat of the sun falls upon your roof and lowers the temperature on the inside of the house. The sunlight is scattered on the inner walls, in which you have a phosphor coating, and the room glows all evening with a soft glow without any electricity, without any power waste. All of the pavement in the area is black. Under the pavement are heating coils, that is, built-in PVC tubing or wiring, or conveyor tubing for water. As the sun beats down on the pavement, we get all the hot water we need without burning any fuel, conserving energy all over the world at a much lower cost. Some individuals may want to live in a way-out house. How far way out, how far out you want to live would be determined by your value system and your lifestyle. It is not a restricted society, but is something brand new. Some individuals will live in homes of a different design. There will be a wide range of what you call individuality. The city is built to bring out creativity, thinking, development, to question all things and challenge all ideas. The city is not utopian. It is an open city to develop all ideas, to change our concepts when they need to be changed, that all the buildings will be earthquake-proof, fire-proof, termite-proof, and shock-resistant, in that they will rest on a particularly designed sand bay so that no direct shock can be transferred to the architecture. There are no fire departments because nothing in the architecture can burn. There are no television sets, radios, tape recorders, or record players. All of that is done by the central computer system, in which all of the world's music is housed in a central computer. You don't want records, tape recorders, all this junk that requires continuous maintenance. All you want is the music you like. You dial it and you get the music. You don't need to pick up records or store them. You live in an insane culture where we duplicate things. It's like having a television station in every home or every apartment building. All you want is the music or the program. You dial that, all you need is an image screen built in on the wall. You don't have a set sticking out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just now joining us, you're watching Zeitgeist Live every Wednesday night from 10 to 11 p.m. right here on Channel Austin, Channel 16, and streaming online at channelaustin.org/streaming16, I believe. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take your live phone calls. If you would like to call in, you have a question or a comment, the phone number is 512-472-2255. Yeah, that's right, 472-2255. We have Peter Perez on the phone with us right now. Peter, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Love you so much, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
All right, so if I understand it, Pete, you're on with TeamSpeak right now, and if you could just, for those who might be watching that are unfamiliar with TeamSpeak, talk a little bit about what TeamSpeak is.
TeamSpeak is a voice over IP client that allows people, large groups, having voice chat online.
Got it. So there's a little bit of feedback coming back from you right now. Who knows what it could be. But so right now you are online with the Texas Chapter Weekly Meetup. So basically anybody that's really involved enough in the movement can get together on this one central site called TeamSpeak, join a chat room, and have several different conversations going at once. I don't know if there even is a limit to how many people can join into the chat and essentially talk away. The first hour you guys are talking about, the upcoming events. We have Artivist coming up right now, things like this, and then you guys are watching the show. So there might be some people that are watching right now that might have some questions, and I am ready to field these questions. What you got?
Got one. Frank wants a little bit of your feedback on Burning Man, and if you could share your excitement for that.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Okay, so Burning Man. Burning Man, this kind of got established by the Ventura County chapter. A few weeks back, we had them on the show, and there was like 10 of them on the screen. And John Cornelius, who has been a Burning Man for like the last 4 years, he's an active member in the Ventura County chapter. He had said, we're going to do a Burning Man camp, a Zeitgeist camp this year at Burning Man. And so I've seen the schematics for what they're trying to build, and it's awesome. It's a dome shaped. It's a circular camp that's divided. That looks very similar to a circular city, if you will. What this is and then he's going to have the idea is to have Jacques' drawings all the way on the outside of the camp. So you have like these pull down, really intelligent shade structures and wind structures that come down over the tents that are on the outer ring of the central dome. Inside the dome, the plan is to have some different media, possibly TV screens that are playing some of the films or some of the videos and things like this. Obviously, we're going to have different types of materials, DVDs to give out. And what's exciting about this for me is that Burning Man is a place where a lot of radical people come. This is obviously a radical idea. We're putting up on the TV screen right now, or on the computer screen if you're watching us online, a diagram of the camp itself so that you can see that. But this is very exciting, Burning Man, because a lot of radical people come to Burning Man I mean, the whole layout of Burning Man is in a circle. I mean, there's not enough people yet to complete the circle, but it's in a semicircle. And I just feel like there's a lot of people there that are counterculture, and not to say that this movement is counterculture, but you know, we're not down with the status quo. And a lot of people that go out to the Burning Man are also not down with the status quo. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there that we could reach and get in touch with. So this is why I'm excited to be at Burning Man. I am not into big festivals and partying per se. I'm into fellowship and getting things done and moving on and progressing along in a very, holistic and sustainable way, which is what this movement is. So to go to Burning Man and to be amongst a bunch of other Geisters or Zeitgeist folks who I really have a high level of respect for and am inspired by, and I get to be, out at Burning Man and interacting with other people that, are probably open to this idea is very exciting for me. Burning Man is expensive, though, I will say that. Tickets right now are going for $320, I believe. And then, of course, you have to pack your supplies. You have to get out there. So I say, since I've been before I went in 2007, it's about a $1,000 trip round, after you put everything, everything into consideration, it's going to be about $1,000. But Burning Man, for a lot of people, is a life-changing event. And so, that's, how much can you place on, how much money can you place on a life-changing event, I suppose. But Frank, do you have any specific questions? Or did I speak enough for you there? What we're showing right now are some of these shade structures. Not the shade and the wind structures. As you can see right now, like the wind will blow through, but then you can also clip it down and pull the shade structure over your tent and then clip it down to a couple of hooks that are in the ground. Now, Burning Man, the elements are tough. Burning Man takes place in Black Rock City, Nevada, right in the middle of the desert. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's hot. It gets up to 115 every day. At night it gets down into the 40s. Sometimes it gets down to the 30s. I mean, it's cold, and obviously it can get windy, so there are huge dust storms that will just come through and kind of level everything. Like the wind will be blowing so hard your tent is flat on the ground doing this right here. So that's that kind of sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. That's hard to get excited about. It's like, oh, here it comes. Take shelter wherever that is. If you don't have a dome or a Winnebago or something like that, it's difficult to take shelter from the dust storms that blow in at Burning Man. But that's part of it. That's part of camping. It's roughing it. You survive the elements, and so it's not just all nice and hanging out and having air conditioning and things like this. There's something to roughing it and having this roughing it experience with 50,000 other people. So that's what that's all about. I don't know. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we've got one more video we're going to screen for you, and then we're going to come back and peace out with you guys. I'd like to give a shout out right now to the Zeitgeist Live crew, Eric Summers, Pam Humphrey, and Ryan Bain. And Ryan has got this going on right back here. Isn't this rad? This is nice, eh? And Ryan's also been helping out. All right, let's just go ahead and go to the video, or else I'll just talk all day about how much I love you guys.
Essentially, what the Venus Project proposes is that we bring all the nations together. Take care of everything on Earth. We pledge allegiance to the environment and all the world's people. The end of separate nations, the end of the artificial boundaries that separate people, and the sharing of all the world's resources by all the world's people. Anything less than that will create the same problems over and over again.
is much more intelligent, much more logical, and utterly much more responsible and practical to create a universal shared system. We are the activist communication arm of the Venus Project. We are here to spread statistical information and socially positive value identifications in the hope of bringing people into an awareness of the incredibly positive possibilities the future can hold. The Zeitgeist movement hopes to ease this issue by not only providing people with an alternative in an intellectual and statistically valid manner, but also a strategy to push forward, to essentially push the establishment to release their reins of arrogance, power, and inefficiency and join the rest of the world in a common goal of uninhibited sustainability. Hence, it is a mass awareness campaign by promoting essentially a collective consciousness shift, if you will. We do this through a relentless global public awareness campaign, which will, in time, hopefully become so large in each country that the establishment will have no choice but to pay attention. It is based on the model of Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. If the establishment orders and government do not recognize this direction, then the public has a very unique position. We don't have to participate in the games that have been set up. If the people of the world can see this alternative, learn about it, understand it, and support it, then no government, army, or bureaucracy in existence can stand in the way of a critical mass of global proportions.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just now joining us, you're watching Zeitgeist Live. We, the Austin chapter for the Zeitgeist movement, have basically pulled together our resources and our efforts, and this is our weekly form of activism. We are coming together and we're producing this television show. If you live in Austin, or you don't live in Austin, and you want to move to Austin to get involved, please do. If you live in Austin, you'd like to get involved with the show, you can find us at zeitgeistliveaustin@gmail.com. That's zeitgeistliveaustin@gmail.com. You can email us there. You can also reach us by going to our website, zeitgeistlive.tv. Zeitgeistlive.tv also is where you can find our archived episodes. We've got a great episode with Douglas Millett and John Bush that is very informative. We're very proud of this production that we did, and I recommend everybody check it out. But also, yes, if you'd like to get involved, please, we highly recommend it. Get involved. It's helpful if you get informed. What's most needed is just people to be able to understand this and be able to talk about it and communicate it. You know what I'm saying? I feel you. But yes, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Please be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place. My name is Tyson Austin Eberly, and on behalf of the Zeitgeist Live crew, we'd like to say thank you, peace, and good night.